How to fall in love with Genshin again. How to fall in love with Genshin Impact again. Voice?
Growing tired of a game you once loved, knowing that you created so many fond memories while playing, and yet now you feel a sense of indifference toward it, it's a bittersweet feeling, but one I'm sure many of us have all experienced before. What changed? Maybe you just moved on, you enjoyed your time with it.
Really, I'll be honest with you, nothing about Genshin Impact really changed. If anything, it got better visually. I guess visually it got better, the cutscenes looks better. Characters are more detailed. The hair, if you compare like Traveler's hair to like basically any character released after like Inazuma's hair, it's like you can tell the difference between like the shading and stuff like that. But it's also an issue that the game didn't really change. It doesn't, how do you say this, refresh. It doesn't change in the fact that like League of Legends changes. Like every now and then League of Legends, like the map layout, not the map layout, but like how the game plays. Dragon now is different from Dragon from like, I don't know, 2010. Baron now is different from Baron from 2010. Like my point is the game changes so that the mechanics are not the same. But with Genshin Impact, it's like more or less they keep adding more to the same formula over and over again. You miss the old days because the old days is when everything still feels new. All the mechanic still feels new. But the issue is, as you keep playing, nothing really changes. Like they don't really update the game with new mechanics. Or what they do, but it's not like it changed how the game plays, right? It's just like new reaction, but you're just using the new reaction in the same system. Like does that make sense? It's just not like the game doesn't really try to change its mechanics.
And now those memories feel distant, but warm. Kind of like looking at old photos or walking around your old
Minecraft fucking Minecraft, that you had by the way.
10. Or maybe it's more complicated than that. Maybe you feel bitter or burnt out. You grieve the loss of a feeling you once had for something that no longer excites you. For me, Genshin Impact was actually one of those games. I started playing in 2021 during version 2.3. I honestly had no clue what I was doing, but that was part of the fun. The discovery, the progression, the charm of it all. It wasn't long before I hit a wall. I wasn't paying any attention to the story, so that didn't really interest me. I didn't understand character kits. I didn't even know what the Genshin Endgame was. Sure, I knew what Spiral Abyss was, but I didn't get the point. I didn't know what to do. Still, I forced myself to keep playing, grinding out Primo Gems, trying to keep up, all because my favorite character, Venti, was rerunning and I had to get him. To be honest, I felt like I had nothing else to do in the game except look forward to my favorite character rerunning and the possibility of getting.
To be fair, for most players, I feel like it's the same feeling, right? You're just grinding dailies until the banner of your favorite character comes. Honestly, for me, I'm like kind of like outlier. I don't really care about like character looks, you know, I don't care about character looks if you watch me. So realistically, like you just do dailies and dailies and dailies and dailies, and then what does the new update really bring you? I keep saying this and people always get confused, like, what are you talking about, PyCon? What do you mean every single update is a game? It's like very formulaic, right? You have a new map. The 0.0 versions is just new map but bigger, and then you have new characters or reruns, new weapon, new story quests. That's really it. Sometimes it's like they add like stuff like Teapot, that you can count that in, I guess, but they implement it in such an ass way that it barely matters. The game feels good at first because everything is still new. Like with everything new is still interesting, but once you get used to it, right, it feels stagnant. That's why I keep saying like Genshin Impact doesn't update like the mechanics. Like nothing gets updated. Like the mechanics from version 1.0 is still the mechanics in version 5.0, right? Like nothing really changed. The only thing that really changes is that characters' numbers get stronger and stronger. That's really it. Like you can add more bosses, but it's like I said, it's like they don't increase the depth of the game. They just keep spreading the puddle wider and wider, but they don't make it deeper.
Yeah, I lost my 50-50 to Mona. And then I quit for, an entire year.
That's crazy how you could lose like a character banner and then you just quit for a year and then you feel like pulling the character again and come back. I'm the outlier in terms of like gacha players, I feel like, so I don't really understand that, but I feel like a lot of people do it though.
Been missed 2 more Venti reruns in that time. So, why did I come back? Coming back to a game after burning out isn't easy. It takes more than just time, it takes perspective. When I returned to Genshin, I wasn't sure what to expect. At first, nothing had changed. Sure, the game had changed, but the way I felt about it didn't. The only reason I started playing again was to do dailies and hope to get a character that could fill that Venti-sized hole in my heart. And so, almost every day, I'd log on, do dailies, spend resin, and pre-farm a little for Venti. Repeat. I did end up getting Kave in that time, who I really loved, but that's a little irrelevant. I was mostly just pre-farming for Venti. But as time passed, things started to change. I didn't even have Venti yet, but I found myself genuinely enjoying working towards something. I was kinda loving Genshin again. The spark was back. Just so you know, I ended up saving 180 pulls and getting myself Venti, and now he's top 1% on Akasha leaderboards and billed as a DPS, and I totally don't have an entire video series dedicated to him that you should probably check out. Anyways, the point is not just why I came back, but how you might be able to fall in love with Genshin again too, without forcing it. Play when you want to, do not force yourself. It sounds simple, but in live service games like Genshin, FOMO is everywhere. Limited time events, exclusive rewards, character banners that come and go.
It's hard, right? I feel like it's hard because the entire point of a gacha game is to kind of intentionally force you to play the game. The entire point of like a resin system and like a daily system is to force you to log in every single day to make sure that you are FOMOing, right? You're like, what if I don't log in today? My resin is gonna overcap, you know? Like that fear of missing out. They really prey on the fact that you are falling for that. And I feel like a lot of people do though, so it is what it is.
So, it's easy to feel like if you're not logging in every day, you're falling behind. But the truth is, Genshin is not a race. There is no player versus player competitive content in the game.
It's not a race in terms of like PvP. It's a race as like I need primo gems for this character that might get rerun in the next banner or something like that, right? I feel like for me, I don't get that feeling, but that's like the vibe I get from like other people though.
Really, except kind of Stygian Onslaught, I guess, and Akasha min-maxing that you need to worry about. More importantly, it's not a job. Sorry for dropping the J word in a Genshin video. I understand that might have triggered some of you. Be safe. Missing an event won't erase the progress you've already made or the future potential for your account. It just means you're playing the game on your own terms at your own pace. If you don't get a character on a particular rerun, it's okay, they will be back. When I stopped logging in every day and when I let go of the pressure to keep up, I started to enjoy the game again. I played when I wanted to, how I wanted to, and that small mindset shift made all the difference. It is a game after all, so try to start treating it like one. Sure, I log in every day now, but that's because I actively enjoy the game and want to log in every day. I don't feel pressured to do my dailies if I was busy a certain day or you know, that I have to. I just play when I want to. Now, I was actually speaking to some content creators, you know, gathering thoughts and opinions and how they still feel about the game, what keeps them coming back kind of thing. Which you'll see more of that later in the video. However, one of them had something to say that I felt was very relevant for the point I'm currently trying to make. So I thought I would put that here before I go on to my next point.
I just want to say that burnout is real. Gacha games are meant to be played every single day for a very long time. That's how they get you. You want to do.
Yeah, that's how they get you. But at the same time, it doesn't feel good. They design it to be played every single day, but it's like, it's not a game that is fun to play every single day. I feel like something like that. I mean, for some people, there are outliers. There are people that play it for fun every single day. Yeah, that happens. But like majority of the time, more or less, you're not playing every single day. It's not fun to play every single day.
Do the dailies, you don't want to lose out on primo gems, right? That's what they want you to do, but it is so unbelievably normal to not want to do that and to want to take breaks, okay? So if you are not having fun, grinding the game every single day, then don't. Genshin will be there for you. You can hop right back in, join the story, everything. You don't have to play every day. I honestly
I would say that is valid if they didn't add Stygian Onslaught and Imaginary Theater. I feel like Abyss was like an endgame mode where you could stop playing for a year, come back, and still be able to beat it, because they honestly had to scale the HP up a lot for Abyss to be difficult with old characters, because once you have like a character sort of built out already, like you have a team that's sort of built out, Abyss becomes as easy as dailies. And that was like a while until like Imaginary Theater came out, which also requires you to have a certain number of built characters to be able to clear it. But I feel like once you get to a part where you are able to beat Abyss and Imaginary Theater, assuming that you are able to sort of have enough characters with each Imaginary Theater rotation, because it restricts short elements, right? Once you have that, it becomes like you can stop for a year and come back after a year and nothing probably have changed. But with Stygian Onslaught, to get all the rewards, you don't need to get the weapon skins, right? I'm pretty sure beating hard mode to get all of the primo gems. Hard mode, I think, is genuinely just beating like overworld bosses. So I feel like even with that, if you want all the meaningful rewards, the ones that actually affect your account, well, technically feathers do affect your account because you can use feathers to reroll artifacts, right? But the ones that matter in a gacha game, you can basically get all of it. It's still sort of the same level of challenge. I think Imaginary Theater has like the biggest restrictions right now in terms of clearing, but if you want like the optional ones, that's where you need to be a step above, which might or might not be returning player friendly.
The Genshin community is massive.
True.
And like any large community, it comes with a mix of perspectives, opinions, and unfortunately, drama. Toxicity around character metas, power scaling, updates, or drama on social media can seriously weigh you down and impact how you feel about a game without you even needing to play it. You would be surprised how easy...
To be fair, I feel like that differs from person to person. Drama doesn't affect my feeling towards a game. I feel like it affects other people, but it doesn't affect me. It's sort of because I'm kind of used to it, because I used to play League of Legends. But drama itself, for me, is sort of part of the game, if that makes sense. I kind of enjoy it.
It is to have your own opinion drastically change just from hearing other people's thoughts. For me, I stopped engaging with that content. I ignore most drama. I don't watch content that focuses on the negatives all the time, and I only watch Genshin content that I myself...
Does that mean you only watch content that is positive? Come on, man. Come on, dude. Only positive, no negatives. Is that the message? I mean, I see the appeal in that, but at the same time, there needs to be a balance, you know?
Genuinely enjoy. Whether it's hour-long exploration videos, lore breakdowns, guides, or genuinely insane pulling videos that leave me speechless.
It's a 2-on to watch it.
It's always content that I love. You know, content that I find genuinely enjoyable or exciting. I'm not saying you should put a blindfold on and never give constructive criticism. I just think some people don't know the difference between constructive criticism and complaining. Sometimes the best way to enjoy something and forge your own personal opinion is to unplug from the noise surrounding it.
I feel like all my criticisms are pretty constructive. Not only would I say something is bad in like multiple different ways, but I give examples of why it's bad. I've told you multiple times why exploration in Genshin is terrible, like it's boring. And I just don't leave it at that, right? Why is it boring? Because all the rewards you get in the open world is either, if they're giving you a weapon through exploration, it's mostly useless. Snow Tomb Star Silver was like one of the first times where they gave you a weapon through exploration. It was like okay, it was like an okay weapon, but once you have like an actual weapon, then it's like it becomes meaningless, right? And it doesn't even have to be like a best in slot weapon for a character. Literally a 5-star weapon probably beats it, right? If you think about that, like all that sort of like sense of like discovery that leads up to that weapon just disappears. Like it's just became scrap metal, right? It's so weird. All the chests in the open world basically contains the exact same thing over and over again. Nothing is surprising, nothing is shocking, nothing really surprises you. The really only thing you can do when exploring is just enjoy the view. like quite literally just enjoyed the view. Like you just look at stuff because first of all, none of the rewards are surprising. So it's like there's no surprises when it comes to rewards. There's no surprises when it comes to like opening chests or whatever. It's just like, oh, a chest, open it. Oh, wow. 5 Primogems. Shocking. And everything else is like, you do puzzles. You can do puzzles, sure. And it's like, you're just literally doing it for a sense of accomplishment. Like at that point. And again, the real issue is that it's a gacha game, right? It's because you can't really make exploration meaningful because it clashes with the fact that you get the best things from gacha, which is just randomly just, it appears. You just click a button and it randomly have a chance of appearing. It's like, what?
There can be a lot of pressure in Genshin to play optimally. Optimally. Build meta teams, farm the best artifacts, only pull the strongest units. But what if that's not fun for you? What if your favorite character isn't meta, but you love their personality or design? Play for that.
I mean,
I started
feel like
building characters just because I like.
Okay, listen. This statement is very, very degrading when it comes to me because fun is subjective, right? What if you like strong characters? What if you like building characters that break the game? I think polling for whoever you want is such a non-statement. You might as well just not have said anything, especially if someone asks for like an opinion on like a character, if they should poll for them or not. Poll for whoever you want is such a non-statement, and I hate it so much. I hate anybody that says it. It's such a non-statement because it doesn't give you an answer. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you might as well just not said anything. I ask you who I should poll for, if I should pull for this, and you just said pull for whoever you want. Like a better answer would be like, are you like a meta player? Do you pull for like a damage, or are you pulling for visual, right? It's, you know, like something like that, right? It's like pulling for whoever you want is such a non-answer. I hate it so much.
To them. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually really like the meta. I mean, I have a C6 Alakino after all, humble brag. But I often pull meta units, more specifically supports, because it opens up the door for me to build really fun, unconventional DPS characters. I mean, that's kind of what my whole channel is based around, experimenting. By doing this, by playing the game the way I enjoy it most, the game becomes a lot more fun, would you believe? What I love is feeling like
I want to play the game the way that I can enjoy it too. But unfortunately, it's missing a lot of features that I enjoy, if that makes sense. A lot of features that make sense in an open world RPG, but doesn't exist in an open world RPG because it's a gacha game. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there features that I enjoy? Yes. People seem to assume that you hate a game just because you hate certain features of the game. It's like, oh, you don't like this part? Why are you still playing? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's always two sides. You play for the story or you play for the combat. If you don't play for one, you play for the other. And if you don't enjoy that either, you might as well just quit the game. Why are you still playing the game? That's crazy. It's almost like there's multiple features in the game and you don't have to only play for one side or the other. It could be a mixture of everything. And that gets kind of convoluted, right? It's a fruit basket. Are there some fruits in there spoiled? Yeah, so you pick those out and only eat the ones that you enjoy. Like, it's that simple.
I'm working towards something. And so that's exactly what I do. Just doing things that I am finding genuine enjoyment out of, without feeling pressured that I have to play the game a certain way. You don't have to do Spiral Abyss. You don't have to 36-star the Abyss. Not even I can be bothered to 36-star every cycle, and yet my account is perfectly
I mean, it's pretty
capable.
close. You're pretty close.
You can log in and
you
just
can probably do it too.
Fish, take screenshots. That's Genshin too.
Dude, if you are logging into the game just to take screenshots, don't take things for granted.
Something that's easy to forget, Genshin is beautiful. The music, the scenery, the details in every region, they're stunning. When I came back, I'd
argue that that's really the whole point of God. They have to make it visually good, right? That's the entire selling point, I feel like.
Slowed right down. There were times where I would just mindlessly walk around the Sumeru forest just because I thought it was so insanely beautiful.
I'm not gonna flame people that do that, because there are people that do that, but you can't argue that's good design because you're just sightseeing.
Sumeru wasn't out when I quit, so when I came back, I think early Fontaine, getting to explore these beautiful new regions, seeing these new areas really just, I don't know, hit me in the feels. When I started the R&R quests for the first time and heard
are you just coming back for like nostalgia? Like you're just coming back to relive your memories? I remember when I was in this area when Sumeru came out, you know, like that makes sense, but fucking watch a video at that point.
This music playing.
I cannot believe there's actually people that say they play Genshin Impact for the music. Like, what does that even mean? Like, genuinely, what does that even mean? Like, you're telling me you cannot go on YouTube, look up that specific OST or whatever, and just play it without playing the game?
I cried. Something about it reminded me of watching Studio Ghibli movies when I was little. It felt so whimsical. The world of Tibet is gorgeous, and it's really easy to take things for granted. Like,
what does that mean? What does that mean, take things for granted? Maybe like you undermine it. You don't realize how much effort's put into it. I get that. That makes sense, but it's like...
Free game. You're telling me I get to experience this for free? Now, I understand.
There's a lot of things you can experience for free, man. Now we're comparing Genshin Impact to other free games. I think that's where I draw the line. Because when you compare Genshin Impact to like other free games, unless you quite literally have never played any other free game other than Genshin Impact, a lot of free games, unironically, has better gameplay loop than Genshin. A game visually looks good is subjective. It's like art. Different people have different taste in art. Different people have different preferences in what a game looks like. That's fine, right? But in terms of gameplay, most things are not that subjective. Like, what is good and what is bad is quite clear because you can compare it to one another, right? You cannot say that Genshin's world design is good because it's the same exact shit everywhere. Like, you just like Control C, Control V everywhere in the world is basically how they do the chests in the world. Control C, common chest, Control V, common chest. When you compare it to games like Path of Exile, where each league has its own sort of unique mechanic, it feels different enough and fresh enough to play every now and then. Like, each time you come back for a different season, something changed mechanically that you did not experience during the previous season. I hate people that say that you could do all this for free. Dude, there are so many good free-to-play games out there that has way better systems than Genshin Impact. I feel like free is quite literally a non-statement, because when have you seen a gacha game that's paid? It exists probably, but not in the top of my head. Every single gacha game that I can name on the top of my head is free to play. So it's like, you have to keep the barrier of entry low because you have all these gacha systems in the game. You have to keep the barrier of entry low, right? It's actually a business decision.
Understand not everyone may feel the same way that I do about these things, and not every point I make will resonate with you. But man, I love this game, dude. I have gotten so invested with the lore of late, and visiting areas in the game I once didn't think twice about, simply because I am genuinely blown away by the attention to detail. You best believe I am hyped for Nodacry. I suppose what I'm trying to say...
That's what I'm saying. You're just exploring just to see it. It's almost like she's like saying that she's like walking around an art gallery and just looking at art. That's fine. There are people that enjoy that. Just going around looking. But in a video game, I want to play a game. Like, I want to play. Like, I understand in an art gallery, you can't play an art. You can't play art. You can't play with the arts. Like, what the fuck? The playing parts of the video game needs to exist as well. But in 2020, there weren't any good free games on mobile, much less gacha. Mobile makes sense, but you have brought this game onto PC. So now you're comparing to PC games.
Thing for granted. Again, constructive criticism should be welcomed, but remember to appreciate what we already have too.
I don't like that sentence. Maybe I just have high expectations for video games because I played a lot of video games and I like to compare them to each other. That's what a critique is, right? You're supposed to critique it, right? Maybe it's just me as a sort of like a reviewer, but I don't really like to allow any flaws to fly past the gap, mainly because there are games that fix that flaw. Using the argument that it's a gacha game, it's not exactly a defense. You're just making an excuse for them to have that flaw just because it's a gacha game. It conflicts with the design, right? The design conflicts, but that itself is a flaw.
If you're still struggling, here are some other tips that might help. Try a fresh account. This isn't for everyone, but...
No, bro. Try a fresh account so you could do all the things that you have done before all over again. It's not like the game plays differently if you start a fresh account, right? The only thing that changes is your polling experience. That does change, but like now you have to go through artifacts again. Like, dude, what? Who realistically wants to go through artifacts again?
Starting over, even just casually, can recapture that feeling of discovery. I know that for me...
How does that recapture your sense of discovery? If Genshin Impact Impact is a game that's like not exactly that great in designing things that is designed to be discovered. I want to understand that point.
Starting my random DPS account really made me appreciate the game more. The only negative thing I experienced with a new account was no skip button.
You see, that's why I don't like. People like to pass by flaws like that like it's a joke. It's 2025. 5 years since the game came out, and they don't implement it. Stop undermining issues is what I'm trying to say. I think you have artifact farming fatigue. Everybody has artifact farming fatigue. Nobody fucking likes farming artifacts. I think when people say you can't really compare a gacha game to a game made by a AAA studio, I think it's really stupid because gacha games like Genshin make like 100 million a month. Dude, at this point, it's like over $1 billion a year, right? It's excusable for the first year. In the 3 months after Genshin came out, from 2020 to 2021, HoYoverse essentially became a AAA studio, or has the resources to be on par with a AAA studio. There's genuinely no excuse for any feature that is in any good open world game to not be in Genshin Impact, other than the fact that it conflicts with the gacha model, which again, I like to reiterate that in itself is a fucking flaw.
Challenge yourself. Try a Genshin challenge, whether it's a swords only account or beating Spiral Abyss with a random team. Or maybe, if you're insane, try exploring a whole region to 100% with UI turned off. Hey, I should try that.
I like to compare this with like fresh Elden Ring runs. Elden Ring reruns, like after you beat the game, you replay the game with like a different build, probably is how most people replay Elden Ring. You know, you replay Elden Ring with a different build this time around or something like that, right? But the thing about Genshin Impact is you cannot easily do that. That's like, you can't just easily restart. You have to go through increasing your AR. It's time gated. Increasing your characters, also time gated. Artifacts, time gated. The amounts of resources you can use to make your account stronger is spread so thin that a second rerun is not exactly the funnest thing in the world. You compare it to Elden Ring, there's no gates, right? There's nothing stops you from progressing. You could literally play the game without all these gates. And even then, if you get bored of that, you have randomizers. You have literally things that change the game mechanically, add in new bosses, things that literally doesn't come with the vanilla gameplay. You could add that in. You can't do that with Genshin. So it's like, is this just like a nostalgic thing with like Genshin players? Like you're trying to like see things through with like rose-tinted glasses, right? I feel like, and you're like, I've been to this part of Mondstadt before. I remember 2020, you know? I feel like everybody is just nostalgic about some of the things that they did with their Genshin accounts. To me, it's like, why?
Set goals for yourself. If you don't want to start a new account, you can set goals to work towards on your current one. Whether like it's min-maxing your favorite character, getting 100%.
You get to that point where you are basically min-maxing artifacts. I argue you're done with that character. But min-maxing to a point where you're basically 50 CV artifacts, I'd argue is not the definition of fun.
Then exploration or building every character.
100% exploration, I argue would be fun if you actually get something for it. Other than the number just being at 100%, what do you actually get from 100%ing a region? The satisfaction for 100%ing a region? Like, really?
Account, whatever it is, just remember that the game is a marathon. Pace yourself. And finally,
That's the issue, right? It's a fucking marathon, right? Who the fuck wants to restart a marathon? You can redo a race, like a 100-meter race. Like, woo. Who wants to redo a marathon?
Breaks. Sometimes the best way to love something is also to step away from it. Absence can really make the heart grow fonder. Don't get consumed by FOMO. If you need to take a week break, that's perfectly fine. One of my favorite games is Minecraft, and I do not play that all the time. I sometimes go a whole year without playing, come back for 2 weeks, have the best time ever, and then stop playing again for another.
Thing with Minecraft is, unless you're genuinely tired of looking at blocks, which is fine, which is valid, you have infinite ways to play this game. You don't have to play vanilla. Like, I argue vanilla Minecraft is probably the most boring thing out there. This game literally gives you infinite ways to play. Literally, goals change and the pacing of the game changes with the mods. So essentially, the game becomes an engine that creates different games. I feel like using Minecraft against Genshin undermines Minecraft too much. I feel like Minecraft is probably one of the best games ever made, just because the community basically is able to design the game themselves. Can't do that with Genshin. I think Genshin Impact is a great game if you want to experience everything once. I think it's really good because you never seen it before, right? But the more you play it, the more you see the patterns keep repeating, And it's not like a game that really changes its identity, and once you get bored of that identity, it's like, I'm not saying that like people won't return to the game, but it's like it's gonna be the same exact game. Like the characters change and stuff like that, weapons change, areas change, the appearance change, but the personality does not change. But like the only thing I don't like about this community is they glaze the positive parts but undermine the negative parts, is what I truly dislike. It's always like, what do you expect? It's a gacha game. You complain about the no skip button system. I actually wish they didn't add a skip button so that the writers will write a better story, because if you add a skip button, that would make the incentive for not having a good story, because the writers can slack off them because players themselves skip the story, so what's the point of having a good story? You complain about the world exploration being meaningless. What do you mean it's meaningless? There's a lot of lore to be discovered. But that's like my exact argument. You're just there to see. Exploring doesn't make you feel like you're playing the game. You're just watching. Like, again, I like to compare that to like walking around like a gallery in like a museum, right? Or something like that. You're just there to see. But I want to play. You complain about Stygian Onslaught. Well, you don't have to do everything. Getting the highest tier is cosmetic. But the fact is that you can't get everything by skill, right? Skill is not the limiting factor when it comes to getting the top tier rewards. You cannot make up a 40% damage increase with skill when you're missing that from the constellations. Doesn't mean that there aren't parts where the game is good. Visually speaking, you know, designs, animations, all of those things done very well. You can glaze the game hard, but you can also shit on the game just as hard, is my point.